All right. Okay, so proceeding from what we're saying, yeah. So let me take this all over again. So we get it. To start, we need to tell the robots what we want to do. Let's say we want to make a sandwich. We will break down the process into simple steps like take 2 slices of bread, spread peanut butter on one slice, and put jelly and all that. Each of these steps is a command written in the program, in the robot's language. Now, this programming is the robot's language rather. It's 0 and 1. We all told that 0 and 1. All these things are being compared. We say now we have programming languages that helps us to understand what we want to do, but it converts it to the for the zero. It converts when we type our code. When we write coding, I mean our keyboard is not 0 and 1. Obviously, it's A, B, C, D, and all that. So this for the kids anyway. When we type our code with our alphabets, am I too fast? Okay, so when we type our code using our alphabets and all that, it's being converted to when it's being executed. The program is being converted to for the computer, or for the computer to understand that this is it, this is that. Okay, so that's that. I don't know if you're getting what I'm saying. We're not understanding. What I'm trying to say is this: in programming, you tell the computer what to do, and now you tell it in different programming languages. Okay, you tell it in different programming languages. For the course of this training, we're going to be looking at Python programming language and robotics programming language. Okay, but then now these codes have different syntax. Now each programming language have different syntax, different way to to be executed. Now we have different, just like we have different languages in Nigeria, right? We have the Igbo, we have the Yoruba, and all that. These are different languages. Now, if I decide I say, okay, I'm a Yoruba person and I speak Yoruba to an Igbo person who doesn't understand, Igbo, who doesn't understand Yoruba rather, and then I speak Yoruba to the person won't be able to understand. He'll be like, what's this? He won't be able to process or understand what you're trying to say. It's similar to that. So imagine now, I as a person, I am one programming language, and that person has another programming language. So I'm speaking to the person, and I'm trying to, okay, I want to process something, and I'm giving myself an Igbo language. So I'm a Yoruba person, I'm giving myself Igbo. I'm typing Igbo on my body, and I'm like, okay, process this language, and I'm like, I don't understand what you're saying. Please, can you speak what I understand? So you have to use the language that the computer understands. That's why we have different programming languages for each purposes. Okay? Are we getting that? Do you understand now? There is no noise in the chat. Okay, just follow me. Okay? Just follow me. All right. So once we have all these steps written down in the right order, we give the list to the robot. It reads the list from top to bottom. Remember, I said the code is being executed from the top to the bottom. So, and follows each instruction exactly. Remember, the word is exactly. So if there's an error from top to bottom, if there's an error, error from the top to the bottom, it will show the error that, okay, there's an error here, I can't proceed with this code. Now, there are some programming languages that once you finish writing your code and you try to execute it, if there's an error in it, this is what happens in some of them. Some of them will not run at all, just because of that one line of code that has an error. Okay, while others will run only to the part that there's no error. So when it sees an error, it stops there and then shows that, okay, there's an error here, I can't continue. Okay, there's some programming language like that. So that's the way it is. So somehow they all have different rules. Just like other languages have different cultures, they have different styles, different behaviors, and all that. like the Yoruba now, they say you have to say dobale, right? You bow down to greet your elders, and they have rules that guides them. Similarly to programming languages. So if you have an error on the code, some of them do not run completely. They wait until all the codes are correct and there's no error. And there are errors, some of them, it will show you the error. Okay? Now that's that. So we're going to look into how to debug, how to check check for errors in the codes and all that when we start coding proper. Okay, so now in real life, computers are like super smart robots. Instead of sandwich, you can tell them to do lots of things like drawing pictures, playing games, or even solving tough math problems. Now I'm going to talk about this. Now we have some applications on our system. Now this we have features. Like, let me use Google for example now. I added this picture I added on this, whereby you enter the call, right? You enter this meeting without you are muted on entry. I need a picture on Google Meet. Okay, so if it is not executed, like yesterday it was not executed, that is why where everybody joined and they were all making noise and all that, right? But now it's executed. So all these pictures, if this picture is not in our line of code and it's missing, and it's something that we want to make use of, we can't make use of it. Why? Because it's missing. So if, for example, now we have pictures and all that in some applications that are there. So there are some applications that are built especially for those particular purposes. So you can tell them to, okay, I want to draw pictures. I know what I want to do. So I'll build my application that I will use to draw pictures. However, there are pictures that are already created for such purposes. We can you download them and use them with the features that are available on the platform there. So you can use the similarly, like I use the computer to do all these kind of things. So we use special programming languages like Python or Scratch to give our instructions to the computer, and when we are done, the computer follows instructions and does that. So now I'm going to dive into. Please hopefully I'm putting down our questions. Okay, please, all questions will be answered. Don't worry. Now I'm going to dive into. There are two types of programming. Basically, there are two types of programming. Now, because all programming languages. I don't know. I didn't show this programming language. Okay, I skipped this. And these are some programming languages that you have there. You can see here. You have the I don't know if you can see my screen. Kind of zooming in. You have the Arduino here. You have Python. You have HTML. You have PHP. You see, I mentioned Java. You have JavaScript. You have CSS. You have Swift and all that. So now all these programming languages, okay, into these two categories, which is what? The text-based programming and the block programming. Now, the text-based programming is like using words to tell the computer what to do. Wait, sorry, before I proceed, if you're all following me and we're getting what I'm saying, please can you react, give me some reactions, just so I will know that you are following and you are with me. Please, can I get some reactions? Okay, thank you. Oh yeah, me. Chidima, all right, thank you so much. Thank you so much. All right. So moving on, we have the text-based programming. It's like using words to tell the computer what to do. It's like writing down instructions in a stupid code that only the computer understands. Only the computer understands. Well, I will not only use the word only now because we developers should understand. If, like now, I'm a developer, right? I'm a developer. If I don't understand this particular programming language, I won't be able to use it. So if I understand the programming language, to use that. Okay. So now that's why I said it's only computer understand. Only the computer for that particular language will understand what you are telling it to do. So you use special words and numbers to create a list of steps. Now, remember I said now the programming languages are peculiar. That is, they have specific syntax, they have specific rules, they have different rules for each programming language. So you have to use a particular rule for whatever you want to do. So if the rule is not what it is meant to be used, you can't use. Let me say now, for example, you want to print in Python, you want to print hello world. In Python, you just say print in quotes hello world. So another programming language, you have to write a lot of lines of code just to print hello world and all that. So these are the rules I'm talking about. Don't worry, I will show you some examples when we start writing the code in Python. So you have to you use special words and numbers to create a list of steps, and the computer follows them one by one. So then we have the other type of programming language is the block programming. It is like using pictures or blocks with different shapes and colors. I know many of our kids love that. It loves, just like building blocks. I don't know if most of our parents use that when we were little. We have a building blocks where you try to build a house. You have to make sure that the block fits in to the particular that STEM anyway. Science, technology tools. All these block instruments to make sure that they match. If they don't fit in, it means that particular block is not for that that section. You have to use it for something else. Just like all these block games that we use on our touchlight phones and all that. So you have to select the particular block that will fit into a particular space. Just like also building house and all that. So this is how block programming language works. So you have to use it. Uses like you use block. Yeah. You use block on for it to build your code, to execute your code, to make sure that now these blocks. What happened here is this: in the block programming, the codes are sort of embedded. The lines of code are embedded into to form a block. Now, this block on the block you have simply what you want to use. Now, looking at this example here, this is Scratch. Okay, so you can see here you have motion, you have some other blocks here, and you can see some text written on it. The picture is not so clear because it's being zoomed. Now, this text is telling you what to do, what's written on the particular block. It's like a label. The text on the block is a label for the particular that this is what this block is used for. This is where you place this particular block. Okay, are we following? Yeah. So it's telling you that this is where you place this particular block and all that. So if the block is not what it is, it's not going to work for it. Okay, so then the text programming, as you can see, this is text-based programming. You can see that this is just written in words for us to understand. Yeah, like I said, it's because I zoomed in. No, when I said this slide, you see that it's going to be clearer. Because I zoom in, you can see this one is clear. The text-based programming now. You see that it's clear now. It's telling you this is the text-based programming. You can see everything is written in words that you will need to understand. Well, this one is in blocks. The block programming is written they are all embedded in blocks. Okay, so that's that. So please note down your questions. Note down your questions, please. We have about 2 minutes to 3 minutes to the end of this session, so we can attend to questions. Okay, so text-based programming is like writing sentences for the computer, and block programming is what? Like putting together a colorful puzzle to make things happen. Now, both ways are super cool, super fun. Now, both programming languages are actually interesting. But for the course of this, I'm going to use a text programming. You said you're able to use this one to be able to understand how the program really works, how to actually build a real software. Okay, we're going to do that. All right, so both ways are super fun and help you make awesome stuff with the computer. Okay, now the final note I want you to know is this. Now remember, just like learning and any new language, it takes practice. So after the entire we're going to have some. Just make sure that your parents, please help your kids. Make sure they practice most of the things that have been learned. That's why the sessions are being recorded for you to fall back on and review and go back and keep on practicing, so your kids can do better. Okay, so start with the simple instruction and all that. Okay, so now like I said, we're going to deal with this. This is the two programming languages we're going to deal with now. The Python is what we're going to start from tomorrow, and then we're going to on Saturday we're going to work with Arduino programming language, which is a language the robots understand. Okay, I mean robots, not this in real-time robots like this one. So we'll talk about when we get to the robots part. We'll talk about like this robots here and this kind of language that this particular kind of robots do understand. Okay. So that said, I'm going to stop sharing my screen now to attend any question and responses. So please, if you have any question, kindly drop it on the. I'm not going to unmute the microphone because I don't want noise. So drop your questions. Arduino and Python. Arduino and Python programming. We're going to start with Python programming and I'm going to continue on Saturday with Arduino. So I'm not going to omit the microphone. I'm sorry because I don't want the whole place to be crowd noisy. But then I'll appreciate if you can type our message, questions. Okay, I'm going to stop the reactions now. I'll appreciate if you can type our questions. If you have any question, please put it on the chat. If you have any questions, please put your questions on the chat so I can respond to them. Please, if you have questions, I'm expecting your questions. Questions, please. I want to believe you are typing the questions. I can see some hands are queued up here. Okay, don't worry. Tomorrow we'll talk about what Python is all about. Okay, thank you, Mr. Obina and Mr. Henry. We'll talk about Python. No, we'll go into that. What are we going to be coding? We are going to be coding. We're going to be writing Python programming language. We're going to learn the basis of programming. We're going to do Python programming. We're going to write codes with what Python programming. Now we're going to do. We're going to build simple programming, like maybe applications, like for example, results. We have calculators, simple calculators with our Python. Yes, you can do that. You can use to build, like I said, you can use to build programming. Okay, what is programming? For what is programming? I will send the slide to us to answer that question. I want to answer the pressing questions. I want to answer the pressing questions, the questions that have not been listened. Okay, so if there's no other question, programming is telling the computer or writing some set of codes for the computer understands for it to be executed. Okay. Now I said for Python, we're going to talk about it in the next class. That's tomorrow. We're going to go into Python in details. Okay. Thank you very much. So programming. Should I ask my own questions since we're not asking questions? Okay. So any other question, please. Okay, the types of programming. Okay. So I believe I've answered what programming is. How can the computer answer the question? We will tell the computer. We will create the application for the computer to answer the questions. That is we're going to be the one that will answer the questions. For example, now we'll create a program to calculate number of people in a particular class. We can do that. All we need to do is just to program it, to write the set of codes and run it, so to execute the code for it. Okay, so now, all right, which language? Okay, now let me answer the first question I saw there. The types of programming. The two types of programming is the text-based and the text-based programming and the block programming. Now I'm going to share my screen once again for us to get that part very well. We seem most of us did not understand what I just said. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen again. So we see the difference. Okay, so now the text-based programming. Now, just the difference between the text-based programming and the block programming is that the text-based written out their words of instructions, lines of codes, words of instruction that you use. It's just the same thing, the same programming, right? It's the same thing we're doing, programming. Only that we are using lines of code in text-based programming. While in a block-based programming, you're using what? Blocks. I'm using building blocks. I'm using building blocks to what? Create the program. I'm using building blocks to create the program, to write the code. Okay? The person that asked that question, have I answered your question? The person who asked the question, have I answered the question, please? Please respond. All right, thank you. Are we clear on that? Okay, so I'm looking for the someone saying no. Okay, I see someone's asking if I can list the types of programming. Yeah, I said there are two types, which is the text-based programming and the block programming there. Okay, so I've listed it for you. First, I know yet what programming is. Okay, I said programming is writing the set of instructions for a computer to execute. Okay, programming is telling the computer what to do. Right, similarly, like when you want to type on your keyboard, you're telling the computer that type this. If you're in the last class, if you see this class, I told you that if you want to type THIS, this is a boy on the computer, you're telling the computer, okay, type this. So I want to see this on the outputs. So it's more or less like that. So you're telling the computer that I want to build this application for this particular purpose to solve this problem. Like Google Meet is solving the problem. It's an application built, written by sets of codes and instructions for the purpose of what? Having meetings like this online. Okay. Now the meeting has a lot of features attached to it. All these are what forms this application. So you write set of code. You have like programming is building applications for the computer to use, as well as the user. Of course, we are the ones using it. Okay. So about the person that asked, you didn't hear what programming is. Mr. Henry, did you get it now? Where can you download Scratch? Don't worry, we'll talk about all those. We're not talking about Scratch for the course of this training. We're not doing Scratch. We are using Python. Okay, do you have another question? How do you program a computer? Yes, like I said, you're going to use a programming language. You program a computer using programming languages. You're going to use for the course of this training, you're going to use Python programming to program what you want to do. So I'm going to list out some projects that I'm going to do at the end of this training. I'm going to list out some simple projects I'm going to do at the end of this training. Okay, so please repeat the types of programming. Okay, I repeated this type of programming multiple times now. So I will just send this. The call is being recorded. So all you need to do is just to rewatch the recordings. Okay. So please, Mr. Abu. Okay, at the lesson. Yes, please. If you have a laptop, you can use the laptop. But we can use now the programming languages that we're using. You can use both your mobile device to write a Python. With Python, you can write codes with your mobile device and with a laptop. So if you have a laptop, it will be much easier for you to use. But if you don't have, yes, don't worry. Tomorrow you know how. If you don't have a laptop, you can use a mobile device. So I chose Pythons for people that don't have a laptop to be able to use their mobile phones. So it's either you have a laptop or a mobile phone, whichever one, you will be able to join the class. Okay. All right. So any other question, please? What type of programming does robots respond to? Now I said there's the programming language that the robots understand. Now I told you that there are different types of programming languages. We have the Python, we have the Java, we have the C, which is what we have in this picture here. Okay, we just have in this picture here. So you have different kind of programming languages. So for a robot, understands Arduino programming languages, which is a combination of both Python, combination of both C and C++, not Python. Python programming language is not what was used to build Arduino programming language. Yes, you can actually use other programming languages to build robots, to build other programming languages rather. Yes, so should we download the app? No, you don't have to download the app. You don't have to download Python app. You only need to. But if you can go to Play Store or App Store. But you don't need to. Or you have your Chrome browser on your device. It's what we're going to use for the training. We're going to use an online platform so that we're able to save our work online and be able to, navigate all through. Okay? That. So any other question? Any other question? Are we learning about web or graphic design in coding? We're not learning any of them for this course of this training. But if you want to learn web development or graphic design, that will not be a problem. But for the course of this training, we're not doing that. But if you want to learn that, you can come to my DM and we'll talk about that in details. Okay. So Mrs. Esther, I don't know if I answered your question about the web development or graphic design. Okay, so how can I download Python in my laptop? We'll do that tomorrow. Okay, we'll do that tomorrow. We'll download Python tomorrow. Or better still, what I will do is I'm going to create a quick tutorial on how to download Python. For those of us using laptop, on how to download Python. I'll quick ongoing. I don't know if you're following what I'm saying. So I think that should work. So before 3 p.m. tomorrow, or 3 p.m. is too far. Before 12 p.m. I will send the link for you to know how to download how to install Python on your computer. So you watch the tutorial and follow the step-by-step procedures on how to do it. Okay, those of you that have a computer, but those of you that don't have a computer, you will work with the online platform. It's going to be the same thing. I'm going to be like the same thing, only that we're using different platforms, okay? So that nobody will be left behind. I want everybody to participate. That is why I'm using Python programming language, not other programming, okay? Are we good to go? Mr. Daniel, did I answer your question, please? So Daniel, I don't want to spoil the pronunciation of your name, so I don't know if I answered your question. Please, if I answer your question, please respond. All right, thank you very much. So I said what is Scratch. We're going to talk about that in some other trainings, but not for this particular course of training. I just told you that Scratch is just an example of a block-based programming language. Why? Because it uses block to build codes, to write your code. Instead of writing your code in text, you use block. So can we use Android? Yes, you can use Android. You can use your Android device. You can use your iPhone. You can use your tablet. Whatever device you have, you can use it for tomorrow's class. Mr. Obioma Richard. Okay, Mrs. Obioma Richard, you answer your question. So, do we need Python? Yes, we need Python. Don't worry, for those you have, we're still going to attend to us. Okay, we're still going to have our class tomorrow. And the time tomorrow is, I don't have a computer, fine. You use your phone. The phone you're using right now to join this Google Meet, we're going to use it for Python tomorrow. Okay. Chisom, I believe I answered your question. All right, so I have 1 minute left to the end of this class. Okay, sorry, I can't repeat everything I said in 1 minute. So please, this person I just commented, can we please repeat what he said? I won't be able to repeat that at the moment. So you just kindly fall back to the recorded class. Okay. So that's that. So I think we'll come to the end of today's class. So I'll see you all tomorrow. Please make sure you're there tomorrow. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I believe we all learned something today's class. So let's see you tomorrow. Okay, 8 p.m. tomorrow, same time. Thank you so much. Bye.